Good morning to you. Oh, I can't sing. What am I thinking? I forgot we're having a singer. Good morning, everyone. Please find a seat if you don't have one. Get a cup of coffee. Grab a sandwich, maybe a cookie. We've got a couple minutes for you to find your place. Latecomers are always welcome. Hello out there. Okay. This was actually a quieting down moment. Okay. Good morning. My name is Kat Miller, and we'd like to welcome you to Open Circle. The we is not a royal we. It is all the volunteers who make Open Circle possible, would like to welcome you this morning. I just get the Vanna White position, right? So please turn off your cell phones. Period. I'm not going to say it. I'm not. Today's Open Circle mission statement is going to be read by Leela Wells.
Good morning. Open Circle provides a supportive environment to gather for social interaction and to improve our understanding of ourselves, our community, and our world. I don't know about you, but the more I know, never mind.
Oh, just go ahead, go for it. Hey, you know,
the less I understand is what I wanted to say. So
I started a couple minutes early. You can, you know.
Okay, I can vamp a little. All right. Presentations span a wide range of intellectual, cultural, physical, and spiritual topics. We do not necessarily agree with the ideas and philosophies of our presenters. We encourage you to listen with an open mind and form your own opinion.
You're fired. Okay. So far, yeah. We are looking for presenters for Open Circle. If you're interested in being a presenter, you can let somebody here in the steering committee know. Normally that would be Margaret Van Every, but she's not here. So that would be Phil. He's right over there. He's the funny looking, the handsome man with the glasses on. So I want you to know that if you are interested in being a presenter and you don't think you have the courage to do it for a year and a half, that's perfect. Sign up now because we're about a year and a half out. And during that time, you can build your courage. If you're not on our email sign-up list and would like to be, you can do so under the tree over by where Brad Gorman is standing photographing. No, he's videoing. Ooh, he's got a royal wave. All right. Over by him. Or you can go onto our fabulous website, opencircleajijic.org. And while you're there, you can peruse around old photos and things of past events. You can also find the link to downloading our various videos from over the years. Not everything is downloadable yet, but you can also go directly to youtube.com chapaladrone. And if you're like me, you have no idea what I just said. So that's why you would go over to the website and you can find it there. Chapaladrone. We'd like to welcome those of you who are here for the first time. So if you've never been to Open Circle before, or you can't remember if you were before, feel free to please stand up. We'd like to welcome you. Please stand up if you're here for the first time. Oh, okay. I don't think that's a stand-up. I think that's okay. I'm going to tell you a story. Today, it's a funny story, but it is a story. Usually I tell just flat-out jokes, but I love this. One of you gave this to me, handed this to me. On July 20th, 1969, Neil Armstrong was the first person to set foot on the moon. His first words after stepping on the moon, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind," were televised to Earth and heard by millions. Most of us here can remember that. But just before he re-entered the lander, he made the enigmatic remark, "Good luck, Mr. Gorski." Many people at NASA thought it's good. It was a casual remark concerning some rival Soviet cosmonaut. However, upon checking, there was no Mr. Gorski in either the Russian or American space programs. Over the years, many people questioned Armstrong as to what the "good luck, Mr. Gorski" statement meant, but Armstrong always just smiled. On July 5th, 1995, in Tampa Bay, Florida, while answering questions following a speech, a reporter brought up the 26-year-old question about Mr. Gorski to Armstrong. This time he finally responded, because his Mr. Gorski had just died, so Neil Armstrong felt he could now answer the question. Here is the answer to, who was Mr. Gorski? In 1938, when he was a kid in a small Midwestern town, he was playing baseball with a friend in the backyard. His friend hit the ball, which landed in his neighbor's yard by their bedroom window. His neighbors were Mr. and Mrs. Gorski. As he leaned down to pick up the ball, young Armstrong heard Mrs. Gorski shouting at Mr. Gorski, "Sex? You want sex? You'll get some sex when that kid next door walks on the moon." Yeah. The Armstrong family confirmed that this is a true story. Isn't that fabulous? Oh my God. Oh. All we have left then is for our words of wisdom. It's okay to let a fool kiss you, but don't let a kiss fool you. Thank you so much for your generosity. We appreciate it. Today's centering moment will be led by Janet Reichert. You betcha.
Good morning. So this is our opportunity to just pause, to stop for a very short time that forward momentum that carries us through much of our day, many of our days, and most of our years, not ever pausing to just be where we are. So this is our chance to just be where we are, and perhaps this morning using sound as our gateway to the present moment, to just being in vertical time instead of that horizontal time we continuously inhabit. So I invite you to listen to sound. There's sound for which we have an affinity. There's sound for which we have aversion, but it's all just sound. So let it take you quietly or noisily into whatever's happening right here, right now, in this body, in this moment. As we settle into the moment and the sounds it contains, we notice that we are a body and the body is sitting. The body is breathing or being breathed. And we're fortunate enough that the body is hearing. Noticing sound. Pleasant sound, calming sound. When thoughts intrude, gently return to just listening to the sound. So whether it be the sound of a bell or the sound of a bird or a noisy cohete, perhaps allowing sound to remind you throughout your day to just pause and have that moment of stillness, vertical time instead of horizontal time. Thank you.
Thank you. Next week's presentation, the impact of trauma on families, friends, and intimate relationships. Presented by Julian Labadie. I may be pronouncing that wrong. MA and CADC 3. A family member gets bad news from the doctor. A long-time marriage begins to disintegrate. Your grown child is abusing drugs or alcohol. These kinds of experiences may qualify as trauma and leave traces on your mind and emotions, on your capacity for joy and intimacy, and even on your biology and immune system. Julian will help us increase our awareness of the broad scope of trauma, its impact on both those directly affected and on the people around them. He presents the opportunity for individuals to heal through a change in perspective and action. Julian holds a master's degree in counseling, along with nearly 40 years of education and experience in treating addictions, marriage and family therapy, and working with families affected by profound mental, emotional, and physical illness. We look forward to having him here with us next week. Today's presentation. This is going to be fun. Traveling with Songs Along the Way, presented by Olga Kaplounenko. Hi. Olga will talk about her travels to different countries and her music-related experiences during these trips. A polyglot, she will sing in the languages of the countries visited: Russian, Swedish, English, French, Italian, and Spanish. Olga is a Muscovite, married with one son. She has a master's degree in electrical engineering, as well as a degree in music and jazz vocals from the Moscow Jazz College. She has worked as a guest researcher in Denmark, Sweden, and later in Silicon Valley, where she worked for 16 years. While in the U.S., she sang solo and in different choirs. When her husband was diagnosed with Alzheimer's 5 years ago, she moved to Mexico, where she's been involved with Los Cantantes and has participated in LLT productions. She also plays piano and guitar, but singing is her passion, and today she will be challenged by cohetes. Please join me in welcoming Olga.
Okay, let's see. Can you hear me now? Hello, everybody. So nice to see you here this wonderful sunny morning. Thanks God. I was afraid of the rain. I thought, oh, nobody will come. So I'm going to tell you about my travel and music experiences. And I will sing you songs from the countries I visited or lived in. As you all probably know, I was born in Moscow, Russia. It was not an easy time to grow up because we had shortages of almost all basic things, especially food, and the life was heavily censored. You had to be really careful about what you say and where you say it. We were also restricted in the books we could read and the music we could listen to. That, of course, gave way to many underground rock groups, to the movement called bard songs. These songs were composed by people, and the same people were performing them just for friends in the private homes. So the government couldn't do anything with that. And though the life was not easy, and I believe it's never easy anyway, we were young and happy, and I had many fond memories about those times. And I love Moscow, my native city. I go back every year, and I'm glad to see that Moscow gets more and more beautiful every time I visit. I will sing for you a song about Moscow. It's called My Dear Muscovites, and it tells about the beauty of Moscow at night, and it wishes good luck and good night to all the people living in Moscow.
Затихает Москва, столистые медали, ярко блещут кремлевских рубинов лучи. День прошел, скоро ночь, вы, наверное, устали, дорогие мои москвичи. Можно песню окончить простыми словами, если эти простые слова горячи. Я надеюсь, что мы еще встретимся с вами, дорогие мои москвичи. Ну что сказать вам, москвичи, на прощание, чем наградить мне вас за внимание. До свидания, дорогие москвичи. Доброй ночи, доброй вам ночи, понимаете нас. Но когда по домам вы отсюда пойдете, как же к вашим сердцам подберу я ключи, чтобы песней своей помогать вам в работе, дорогие мои москвичи. Синей дымкой окутаны стройные здания, ярко блещут кремлевских Ждут вас завтра дела, скоро ночь, до свидания, дорогие мои москвичи. Ну что сказать вам, москвичи, на прощание, чем наградить мне вас за внимание, до свидания, дорогие москвичи. Доброй ночи, доброй вам ночи, вспоминайте нас. Ну что сказать вам, москвичи, на прощание, чем наградить мне вас за внимание, до свидания, дорогие москвичи. Доброй ночи, доброй вам ночи, вспоминайте нас. Доброй вам ночи, вспоминайте нас.
In 1993, my husband was invited to work in Gothenburg, Sweden, as a guest researcher for the Technical University. Sometime later, I joined him there because I was given a job as a process engineer in the electronics department. So we spent more than 2 years in Sweden, enjoying this beautiful country with its clear lakes, rocks, and pine forests. I started to sing with the university choir, learning Swedish language and culture, and lots of Swedish music. And then later I also joined a small barbershop's choir and made lots of friends there. When I announced that I'm going to leave the country to move to the United States, one of the ladies gave me a CD with the Swedish dance music. And I'm listening to it now and then, remembering my Swedish friends. And I will sing for you one of the songs from that CD, which is called De Sista Ljuva Åren, which you can translate as The Last Sweet Years. It says, so let the last sweet years become the best in our lives. Let the happiness stay alive. When my heart stops beating, you will remember those beautiful moments we had.
När nattens mörker falnar och stillar sig till ro, då kryper jag in till dig som så många gånger förr. Jag har en vän att älska och att dela livet med.
in Europe, it was easy to visit other European countries. So we traveled on vacations to countries like Denmark, Norway, Switzerland, Germany, and Italy. When our travels brought us to Rome, we stayed there with the family of the professor of the Rome University. And he was a big fan of the Neapolitan songs. So every evening, he would ask me to play my guitar, and he would sing the night through. I was really very tired after this stay there. And I noticed it looks like the song that everybody knows there is Volare. You can hear it on the streets and in the restaurants, and usually people sing along with the musicians. So I will sing Volare for you now.
Penso che un sogno così non ritorni mai più. Mi dipingevi le mani e la faccia di blu. Poi d'improvviso venivo dal vento rapido e incominciavo a volare nel cielo infinito. Volare, cantare, nei blu, dipinto di blu, felice di stare lassù. E poi quando volavo felice più alto del sole, ancora più su, mentre il mondo pian piano sparivo lontano laggiù. Con la musica dolce suonavo soltanto per me. Volare, cantare, nel blu, dipinto di blu, felice di stare lassù. Penso che un sogno così non ritorni mai più. Mi dipingevi la faccia e le mani del blu. Poi d'improvviso venivo dal vento rapido e incominciavo a volare nel cielo infinito. Volare, cantare, nel blu, dipinto di blu, felice di stare lassù. Volare, cantare, nel blu, dipinto di blu, felice di stare lassù. Via più che suoi parecido no volverá más. Y me intentaba alcanzar las montañas y me improviso el viento rápido me lleva y me hace volar en el cielo infinito. Volare, cantare, nel blu, dipinto di blu, felice di stare lassù. Nel blu, dipinto di blu, felice di stare lassù. Felice di stare lassù.
I always wanted to visit France. When I was young, Russian culture was so heavily involved with France. They showed lots of French movies, and we could listen to lots of French songs. And also, growing up in Moscow with lots of nice big museums, where I visited very often, I liked French Impressionist paintings of the artists like Monet, Renoir, Lautrec, Signac, Van Gogh. I read lots of French books translated into Russian of authors like Alexandre Dumas, Guy de Maupassant, Stendhal, André Maurois. So I always dreamt about going to France, and finally I had a chance to go to Paris. It was like a dream came true. I immediately went to d'Orsay Museum to see the Impressionists, and I saw Notre Dame de Paris, Moulin Rouge, Montmartre, walked on the beautiful bridges across the Seine River, and what represents the French culture and atmosphere more than songs of Edith Piaf. I will sing for you my favorite, La Vie aux Roses.
Des yeux qui font baisser les miennes, un rire qui s'éteint sur sa bouche. Voilà les portraits sans retouche de l'homme à qui j'appartiens. Quand il me prend dans ses bras, il me parle tout bas, je vois la vie en rose. Il me dit des mots d'amour, des mots de tous les jours, et ça me fait quelque chose. Il porte de mon cœur une part de bonheur dont je connais la cause. C'est pour moi, pour lui dans la vie. Il me l'a dit, il ne jouerait pour la vie. Dès que je perçois, alors je sens en moi mon cœur qui bat. Des nids d'amour à plus finir, encore un bonheur qui prend sa place. Les hommes et les chagrins s'effacent, heureux, heureux en mourir. Quand il me prend dans ses bras, il me parle tout bas, je vois la vie en rose. Il me dit des mots d'amour, des mots de tous les jours, et ça me fait quelque chose. Il entend dans mon cœur une part de bonheur dont je connais la cause. C'est lui pour moi pour lui dans la vie. Il me l'a dit, il jouerait pour la vie. Dès que je l'aperçois, alors je sens en moi mon cœur qui bat. Il entend dans mon cœur une part de bonheur dont je
After moving to the Silicon Valley in 1996, we spent lots of time trying to adjust to American lifestyle. We were not used to almost complete lack of public transportation, so I had to learn how to drive at the age of 34. Very long working hours, very short vacations, and as a result of it, lots of stress. It's a norm in Silicon Valley. But still, I was able to find time to sing. First, I joined huge barbershops choir, female only, belonging to the organization Sweet Adelines. It had about 150 members. It was very strong, high-quality competing choir. We won first place in the Northern California and went to Nashville for the international competition, and we got 10th place there. But after that, I left because I like performing more than competing. And all the effort there was into competition. And we had about 2 performances per year, which was a shame for the choir of such quality. Later, I joined the small community choir, Valley Chorale, and sang with them. I also sang solo for my friends and fellow co-workers. I love jazz, and I like music and songs from 50s and 60s. So I will sing for you one of the songs I really like. It was done by Nat King Cole, and it's called Unforgettable. Unforgettable, that's what you are. Unforgettable, though near or far. Like a song of love that clings to me, how the thought of you does things to me. Never before had someone been more unforgettable in every way. And forevermore, that's how you'll stay. That's what, darling, it's incredible that someone so unforgettable thinks that I am unforgettable too. In every way, and forevermore, that's how you'll stay. That's why, darling, it's incredible.
comfortable
In 2011, my husband was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease, and we decided to leave the country looking for more affordable health care and lower living expenses. So in June 2012, we arrived in Ajijic. This was perfect for us, with beautiful nature, great climate, and very friendly people. I've got lots of support here, and I'm very grateful to live here. Here I discovered new music style I never heard before, Mexican bolero. It is so romantic. The music is so wonderful. Many of these melodies were borrowed north of the border and became famous with different lyrics. For example, the song, "What a Difference a Day Makes," was originally in Spanish, and it was sung by the famous Mexican singer Guadalupe Pineda, who was named a queen of bolero. I will sing for you the song in Spanish. The name in Spanish is "Cuando vuelva a tu lado," which means "when I return to you."
Cuando vuelva a tu lado, no me niegues tus besos, que el amor que te he dado no podrás olvidar. No te preguntes nada, que nada hay de explicarte. El beso que negaste ya me lo puedes dar. Cuando vuelva a tu lado, que esté sola contigo, las cosas que te digo no repitas jamás. Por compasión, por tu lado el mío, y estréchame en tus brazos, y cuenta los latidos de nuestro corazón. No me preguntes nada, que nada hay de explicarte, que el beso que negaste ya me lo puedes dar. Cuando vuelva a tu lado, que esté sola contigo, las cosas que te digo no repitas jamás. Por compasión, por tu lado al mío, y estréchame en tus brazos, y cuenta los latidos
I never had a chance to visit Brazil, but part of my soul should be Brazil, definitely, because the bossa nova is one of my favorite music styles from my young years in Russia and until now. I have lots of bossa nova recordings at home, and I have a full collection of the CDs of Antonio Carlos Jobim, the famous Brazilian composer. Many of his songs are so famous that they were translated in many different languages and became famous all over the world. I don't think there is a single person who never heard Girl from Ipanema. I will sing it for you in Portuguese.
Olha que coisa mais linda, mais cheia de graça. A ela, menina, que vem, que passa, num doce balanço, caminho do mar. Moça do corpo dourado, do sol de Ipanema, o céu balançado é mais que um poema. É a coisa mais linda que eu já vi passar. Porque estou tão sozinho. Porque tudo é tão triste. Beleza que existe. A beleza que não é só minha, que também passa sozinha. Ela soubesse que quando ela passa, o mundo sorrindo se enche de graça e fica mais lindo por causa do amor. Porque estou tão sozinho. Porque tudo é tão triste. Beleza que existe. A beleza que não é só minha, que também passa sozinha. Se ela soubesse que quando ela passa, o mundo sorrindo se enche de graça e fica mais lindo por causa do amor. Por causa do amor. Por causa do amor.
The last song that I'm going to sing for you this morning is Corcovado. This is also a bossa nova written by Antonio Carlos Jobim. And it was originally in Portuguese. I will sing it for you in English. For me, these songs represent the beauty of the life here, lakeside. The beautiful views, sun, wonderful, quiet. With this song, I would also like to thank my partner, Alan Cole, for being there for me during the most difficult time of my life, when my husband passed from Alzheimer's disease. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for coming here and making this morning wonderful and memorable for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Are we not lucky or what?
Thank you.
Thank you for choosing to continue to sing through all of life's differences and adversities. What a joy for you and for us. We look forward to seeing you all next week. It sounds like it's going to be a very interesting talk, illuminating for us. So have a beautiful day. Please stack your chairs, pick up your coffee cups, take all your belongings. And if you want, you can turn on your cell phone. Now that I no longer have to say it, I appear to be able to remember it.